What if the smallest voice in the room had the biggest lesson to teach? This is the story of Milo, a tiny ant with a very big heart. Deep inside a quiet forest, under the roots of a great oak tree, there was a busy ant colony. Hundreds of ants lived there together. They worked every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They carried food, built tunnels, repaired walls, and took care of their young ones. It was a community full of life and energy, but not every ant was the same. Milo was different. He was the smallest ant in the whole colony. His legs were thin. His body was light. While the other ants could lift 10 times their own weight, Milo could only carry 3 times his. Every morning, when the bigger ants woke up and stretched their strong legs, Milo woke up too. He looked at his small arms. He took a slow, deep breath, and then he went to work. One morning in early summer, a large ant named Bruno stopped Milo at the entrance of the colony. Bruno was tall, wide, and very strong. He could carry a whole piece of bread on his back without stopping. "Milo," Bruno said, crossing his arms. "Where do you think you are going?" "To find food," said Milo simply. "What?" Bruno laughed. It was not a kind laugh. "You find food?" He shook his head. "You are too small. You will walk far and come back with almost nothing. Stay home. Rest. Let the strong ants do the real work." Some other ants nearby nodded their heads. They agreed with Bruno. Milo looked at them quietly. He did not shout, did not argue. He said only 3 words. "I will try." And he walked away. Every single day that summer, Milo left the colony before the sun was fully up. He walked far, much farther than the other ants. He searched in places they did not look. Under dry leaves near the river, behind large stones where berries sometimes fell, along the roots of old trees where seeds collected after the wind. He could not carry much in one trip. A single grain of rice, half a crumb of bread, 1 small seed, tiny piece of dried fruit. The bigger ants passed him on the path sometimes. They carried large pieces, whole crumbs, big seeds, thick pieces of food. They moved fast and looked proud. When they saw Milo with his small load, they smiled. "Look at Milo," said one ant. "All that walking for so little." "Poor Milo," said another. "So much effort, so little result." But Milo kept walking. He made 10 trips a day, sometimes 12, sometimes 15. Each time he returned to the same corner of the colony and placed his small piece of food carefully on the pile. Then he turned around and went back out again. Nobody watched, nobody counted, nobody noticed. But the pile grew, slowly, quietly, steadily. In late autumn, the sky turned dark. Cold winds came through the forest. The leaves fell from the trees. The paths became wet and slippery. Then the rain began. It was not a light rain. It was heavy, cold, and long. It fell for 3 days without stopping. The river rose. The ground became soft mud. No ant could go out to search for food. The colony looked at their food store. It was almost empty. The big ants had worked hard, but always in the same places, always taking the big pieces. They had not thought about saving. They had not prepared for a long rain. Bruno looked at the store with a worried face. "We have very little," he said quietly. "Not enough for everyone." The colony became silent. The young ants looked afraid. The older ants looked at each other with tired eyes. Then one small voice came from the corner. "Come," said Milo. "Follow me." The ants followed Milo to the far corner of the colony, a place most of them had never visited. And there they stopped. In front of them was a large, carefully organized pile of food. There were hundreds of small grains of rice, dried seeds of many kinds, small crumbs of bread stacked neatly, pieces of dry fruit, tiny bits of bark with nutrients saved inside. It was not a glamorous pile. Every piece was small. But together, it was enormous. Bruno stared. His mouth opened, then closed. "How?" he whispered. Milo sat down beside his pile. He looked calm. "Every day," Milo said, "I carried a little. One could not carry much, so I carried often. I did not skip days. I did not rest when I was tired. I just kept going." He paused. "Y'all carried big things, but you stopped when you were full." "I never stopped." There was a long silence. Then one young ant, a small one, near the back of the group, began to clap. And slowly, one by one, the others joined in. That winter, no ant went hungry. The colony survived the long rain. They survived the cold weeks that followed. And they did it because of one small ant who quietly, patiently, never gave up. Bruno walked up to Milo on the last day of the rain. He looked down at his own strong arms. Then he looked at Milo. "I was wrong," Bruno said. "I am sorry." Milo smiled gently. "You are not wrong to be strong," he said. "Just remember, strength is not only in the body. Yes. It is also in the decision to continue, even when it is hard." Bruno nodded. He never forgot those words. And from that day on, nobody in the colony ever called Milo small again. You do not need to be the biggest or the fastest. You only need to be consistent. Small actions done every day without stopping will always create something great. The world does not always reward the strongest. It rewards the ones who never give up.